Today, we're going to be exploring my Ghost War Tryhard guide. This will be a guide that covers very basic starter tips, but also goes into some advanced ideas and strategies later on in the video. As a beginner, these tricks will get you ahead of many other players around you who might not know these ideas yet, and some of the following ideas have won my team many a games. First off, let's talk about the basics of gameplay and gunplay in Ghost War. So first off, this is a third-person game. You must use that third-person camera to your advantage whenever you can. This means that you should always be behind hard cover, moving your camera over and around that object to scan for hostiles and then move to the next piece of cover. To use third-person for your advantage the most, press H to holster your weapon and then click that middle mouse button while standing. This will extend your camera view about 20 feet in the air, making it very easy to see enemies before they see you. I've stood in bushes using this camera mode to find players coming my way before they even knew that I was hiding in that bush. And you should always be using this camera mode unless in immediate danger from a hostile player. Personally, I use it even when in direct combat to gain even the slightest pieces of intel on enemies, but when you're within that close combat and close distance of a player, having your rifle out and ready is also necessary too. Practice with this camera. If you're a player of games like Arma 3, PUBG, or any other realistic third-person shooters, you'll get used to it pretty quickly. Tip number 2, and this only applies to PC players, but for you guys, this one's pretty efficient. Lower your graphics settings all the way down to potato mode. Lowering your graphics settings not only reduces the chance of low FPS, but also makes it considerably easier to spot hostile players. Turning down textures will make the objects appear simpler, making scanning a bit easier as well, and turning all of your foliage settings to lowest will make sure that you have the least amount of grass if an enemy happens to be hiding in it. This can make the world of a difference on some maps, and smooth frames are always good as well. Tip number 3, thermal goggles. And I don't know how thermal vision got into this game. In any map that is nighttime or has inclement weather, thermal vision is no doubt the best perk to go with. Although thermal vision has a limited range for the naked eye, if you were to look down a sniper scope or an ACOG with thermal vision, you can see enemy players across the entire map. This perk is unlockable at level 7, which is very easily reachable within a single sitting of the game, and is arguably the best ability to have on maps like Pilgrim Retreat and Coca Farm, as these maps have high amounts of foliage and vegetation. And players who don't really know about thermal goggles will commonly be trying to hide within that foliage. Utilizing your thermal goggles with the unarmed third-person camera, as I mentioned in tip number 1, is extremely powerful at finding enemies in foliage-heavy areas. I hope in the future that this is removed, but for now, this is most definitely one of the most powerful abilities in the game. One way to slightly counter thermal goggles at the moment is to wear a ghillie suit. Most ghillie suits will slightly conceal the extreme brightness of your body, at least for your upper back, shoulders, and head. Therefore, at long range, it might be the difference between someone seeing you or not, and that's the reason why I wear ghillie suits on every single class of mine. Tip number 4 is that all walls are penetrable. For the classes who have assault rifles or sniper rifles of heavier calibers, most walls in the game are penetrable. For example, a sniper on Desert Outpost can shoot through any surface of that main big tower. This means that if you're hiding behind the sandbags or even the metal walls, you can still be killed from a sniper. Most fences and thin walls as well in the game are penetrable by assault rifles, and this comes into effect very nicely on the Coca Farm map, where the compound is literally surrounded by metal walls. SMGs can pierce walls, but not as reliably as full-length rifles. Now, if you're not near walls and you're in more of a foliage-heavy area, tip number 5 will be for you, and that is that camouflage is actually a thing in this game. In Ghost Recon, you have the ability to customize your character all the way down to the patches they wear on their hats. This means that you have the ability to customize the camouflage, the clothing type, and even the paint jobs on your weapons. Playing this game in the beta, the early access, and the final version has shown me just how easy it is to see players that are wearing clothing that is very dark or very bright. For example, the default scout has like a white t-shirt and a dark colored vest, and it's extremely easy to see him at a distance, and it should be one of the classes that you change the camouflage of the quickest, because that just will stand out so much. I personally like to use the multicam camouflage, as it seems to fit with most of the maps. You can additionally wear a ghillie suit to make yourself slightly more camouflaged at closer range and partially negate the use of thermal goggles at a distance. The worst thing you can really do is have your character wearing all black. On desert maps like Quarry or Desert Outpost, black camo on tan sand is extremely easy to differentiate. Talking about differentiating things, what if that ground in front of you will make you explode? Tip number 6 is mines. Mines are usable by the sniper, the artillery class, the medic, and the assassin class, and are one of the most efficient ways of killing even the most veteran players. When killing an enemy with with one of these classes, if they are alone, place a mine on the dead body of the enemy, and when a friendly player from their team attempts to revive them, they will get exploded from that mine. You can also place mines on stairways or paths up to sniper spots so that when an enemy player attempts to flank you, or if you're a sniper or something, they'll get caught up from that mine and die on the way to try to flank you. A lot of people use these classes without knowledge that they even have a mine in their inventory, but this is one of the most powerful gadgets in the game so far. Got him.
Nice. Where's the last guy?
Oh, he's on me! Oh, I got him with my mine! Oh my gosh! I put my mine down right as he turned the corner. It killed us both. Wow.
Jesus.
Tip number 7 is pick rates. We aren't even going to go into the extreme specifics of the classes in the game, as they're pretty basic and pretty easy to understand. We might make a video on that later on, but I'm going to be laying out the facts as to which classes are most powerful in this game so far. Over 45 games of Ghost War that I played, I recorded and documented the kills per class and pick rate per class of every single round. Now, this isn't entirely accurate for all the classes, as certain ones like the Assassin, the Sentinel, and the Medic are only unlocked for players over, I think, 35, and they'll have a very, very low pick rate. Same goes for the Enforcer, the Tech, and Diversionist, which are unlocked at level 15. But this should give you an idea of what classes are the most powerful in terms of kills per game, at least with the 6 on the left side of the screen you're watching right here, as they can be unlocked at the start of your progression. As you can see, certain classes like the Pointman and the Sniper are nearly picked 1/4 of the time, and for good reason. These classes have the strongest weapons in the game, and therefore they have the ability to really destroy the enemy team if used correctly. The Pointman's AK-12 is arguably the best rifle in the game. Its time to kill is fast, its accuracy can help it reach out to fight against snipers and other longer range classes, and its recoil is comparable to an airsoft rifle. The Sniper is the best class of them all, and the ability to one-shot hostiles from across the map means that this class does overall the most damage to the enemy team, and is also the hardest and most feared class to fight against. The bullets of the sniper rifle can go through most objects and walls, and the rifle is usually accurate and long range enough to snipe anyone attempting to access the recon tower if you're like, let's say, the last person remaining. Aggressive snipers in good spots honestly win games. And in certain maps, a good sniper can even halt a game entirely. In Mountain Village, there's a cliff to the northwest side where a sniper can sit and overlook the entire area. And this area isn't exactly effective at direct fighting in a normal firefight, but if the rest of the sniper's team gets downed and the sniper doesn't want to take the chance of losing, the sniper can just sit back on this cliff, covering every angle of approach, and usually hold off even a full team of 4 players against them. This will lead in the round ending in a draw once the timer runs out, giving the sniper's team a second chance, or if the timer doesn't run out, will lead the enemy into being baited out into the open fields where a sniper can easily take them out. And the tip I saved for last is the damage model. The Ghost Recon damage model looks a little bit like this. We'll start at the legs and say that shooting them with any rifle does around 1 damage. Moving up to the torso, the damage is multiplied by 1.5x, and that accounts for the arms and hands, which will do the same amount of damage as being shot to the heart. So if you see someone's hands or arms, that'll do the same amount of damage as shooting them in the chest. Headshots multiply considerably more at 3.6 damage. That means that you should always aim for that center mass, but grabbing a headshot, as with most games, will reward you with a quicker kill. Suppressors in the game can also affect the damage output on a firearm. For example, firing an FN 5.7 at a scout will kill them in 4 hits to the torso, but attaching a silencer will raise the shots to kill to 7 shots to the torso, meaning you lose a large amount of damage per shot when attaching a silencer to a weapon. Also, a small tip is that the hitboxes for both the female and the male character are the same, yet the female character's shoulders are slightly thinner, and also her legs and her overall body is smaller. So if you like to be a little bit more concealed or have just that slight chance of not having part of your body stick out over an object, pick a female character, and therefore you'll be a smaller target overall, yet your hitbox is around the same. Also, fun fact, there's a void in the hitbox in the back of your legs. If someone is to perfectly shoot right above your knee at this spot that you can see me firing right now, they actually aren't going to do any damage. It's kind of an interesting thing, Ubisoft. Another tip as well is that sprint running with a weapon or without a weapon makes no difference, but once you run out of that stamina and you have to kind of do the tactical jog pace or whatever, that is the time that you can actually switch your weapon to your back and you'll run faster. So again, if you're just walking forwards in the game, doing that kind of like jogging pace type of walking, you are going to be going faster without a weapon on your hand rather than with a weapon in your hand. Well, alrighty guys, that was my Tryhard beginners and kind of intermediate guide to Ghost Recon Wildlands PvP. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I do want to thank you guys for 250,000 subscribers. We might make a standalone video about that number, because that's like 250,000 people that are subscribed to the channel, which is absolutely insane. So I just wanted to thank you guys that from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate every single one of you who watches my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.